A university mathematician decodes the crop circle with a binary code and extraterrestrial face. Mia Pitkonen, a physicist from the University of Helsinki in Finland, offers an interesting analysis. The fascinating design is real regardless of whom you believe made it. Arjun Walia Collective Evolutions on Collective Spark. Did you know that crop circles are actually real? How they're made and who or what is making them is up for debate, but the existence of intricate, remarkable, and very complex designs that are sewn into crop fields all around the world is a fact that's not open for debate. Looking at some of these designs, especially footage taken from a plane or a helicopter, should give you goosebumps. Why? Richard Taylor, a physicist from the University of Oregon, outlines it best. He says, despite ridiculing any type of supernatural explanation for these designs, he states that this is, quote, the most science-oriented art movement in history, end quote. It's also interesting to note that many of the designs have been studied in a laboratory setting, as some of the nodes of these stalks are blasted out on one side. Not many people know this about crop circles, but the crops are not simply flattened. It's quite clear that some sort of high-level technology is being used. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. This is an article from the 16th century in Hertfordshire, UK. They had crop circles there as well. Of course, they didn't have aircraft to see the crop circle from the air, but they called these things that were creating these things the crop devil, the mowing devil. We've recently had a report of crop circle designs being found on floating ice, and this one here is in China. So what is behind all this? So the blasting effect replicated by localized microwave heating, causing the water inside the crop to vaporize and dislodge, and as a result the stalk flops completely over to one side. And because of this, Taylor concludes that crop circle artists are using GPS devices, lasers, and microwaves to create these astonishing patterns of geometric forms due to the measurements he found in his research. There will always be those who reject some sort of a supernatural hypothesis, but for those who actually look deeper into the crop circle phenomenon, it's hard to argue that something strange is not happening. The crop circles you see above these faces had appeared in 2002 in the field near Crabwood, United Kingdom. Yes, and it's real. It's been filmed, documented, even photographed. There's footage all over the internet. It made a lot of noise and has been researched by multiple scholars all over the world. Some great helicopter footage of the Crabwood Circle with Terje Toftens, an award-winning Norwegian filmmaker and video producer. Some more astonishing helicopter footage taken by the photographer of the photos, Lucy Pringle. And you can see people standing in the crop circles as well. It's quite detailed footage. There's links here. You can see more images of these. So who could be doing something like this? Who could be designing a binary code and implant a face within a crop in the dead of night in only a few hours, leaving no entrance or exit marks while being artistically and mathematically precise? Mia Pitkonen is one of many scholars who have examined this particular circle. She is a physicist from the University of Helsinki in Finland, specializing in medical physics. Clearly, she has an interest in this phenomenon because she published a paper titled Crop Circles and Life at Parallel Space-Time Sheets. Isn't that strange? crop circles and life at parallel space-time sheets. And it's a two-part series, and in it she examines a Crabwood crop circle, and there's a source here, you can see that. This is what she explains. Crabwood message consists of two parts: an alien picture and a picture representing a spiral-like bit sequence starting from the center of the picture and proceeding counterclockwise. It has been proposed 5960 that the message is coded using 9-bit code and that 8-bit portions obey ASCII code. With this assumption, the message reads this: beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. EELI. I believe it says there. There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. Isn't that strange? That's what she says that this message says. Beware of bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe. There's good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. Obviously, there are one or two incomprehensible words. EELI, exclamation point mark UVE. LEUV, whatever that is. LEUV, Eli, or Eli UV. Is that Eli Yahweh? Eli Yahweh? Is that the name of God? Is that they're trying to put out there? There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. Eli Yahweh, Uve. I don't understand, but there are also two variants of the message in the net. Oppose appears at Paul Vigay's homepage and oppose at Martin Kettle's homepage. In the following, both options are considered. Oppose, OP, capital O, capital P, and then bottom case POSE. One could consider the possibility that the message has a much deeper layer than the somewhat oracle-like statement at ASCII code, and that the presence of the little inconsistency might be intended to make clear that a deeper level is involved. What these aliens would like is to communicate is something very essential about themselves as a life form. The image of an alien accompanying a bit sequence indeed suggests this. This something very essential could obviously include the code for translating ordinary DNA triplets into amino acids, perhaps also the code for translating the exotic RNA doublets to the analogs of amino acids. These analogs could be even electromagnetic waves. There could be also other codes. Just at the time when the Crabwood message had arrived, I developed an entire hierarchy of cognitive codes based on Mersenne primes and regular polygons constructible using only compass and ruler. The first guess is that the message should be represented by some universal code. The appearance of 3 times 3 equals 9-bit code, words decomposing naturally to 3 sequences of 3-bit suggests that a cognitive code consistent with genetic code might be involved. This guess was very useful in that it led to the identification of the genetic code of exotic RNA, and the decomposition of 3-bit portions also suggests immediately that information about RNA is in question. It, however, turned out that ASCII code is the proper manner to interpret the message. 9th bit serves as a separation sign only. The interpretation relies on extremely general aspects of the ASCII code. Capital and small letters correspond to amino acids, and capital and small forms of a given letter denote for the same amino acid. Control signs denote the amino acidic counterparts for the code associated with the exotic RNA. The ordering of the symbols does not matter. One could also use different kinds of symbols, only the numbers of various kinds of symbols telling how many code words are mapped to a particular amino acid or whether whatever counterpart of it matter, end quote. It's quite complicated, I know. Paul Vigay, a British computer consultant notable for work in developing and supporting RISC-OS software and longtime researcher in the field, was the first to discover that the message was encoded in ASCII binary code. He also worked with Mel Gibson on the film Signs, but unfortunately died a very mysterious death. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises, much pain but still time, damaged word, that is the Eli Uve, is that Eli Yahweh? I don't know. There is good out there, we oppose deception, conduit closing, and then there's a bell sound, whatever that is. Another great screenshots taken by helicopters of these things. Now, Pitconian's paper is quite in-depth and states that the makers of the circle, whoever and whatever they are, could be using this type of specific code and much more. One thing is for certain, whoever made this circle is extremely artistic, technologically and mathematically advanced to a point beyond belief. And there's a screenshot, last part of her paper, expressing the same conclusion that many of us have come to, the realization that something amazing is going on here. And she says, I want to express my gratitude for several persons, encouraging me to take seriously UFO ETs and for interesting suggestions, particularly for simulating the idea that tectonic energy could serve as a food of plasmoid-like life forms. Oh yeah, tectonic energy is food? What does that mean? That we have to have earth changes and, God forbid, subduction energy pressures and earthquakes? God forbid. Martin Kittel for helping me, she says, to realize that crop circles are real and telling about the Chilbolton and Crabwood crop circles, as well as for concrete help from Tony Sierra for providing material related to UFOs and for interesting email exchanges, things like that. Now, she says, I will sooner or later invent the means of establishing communication with aliens, the third bottle of champagne. I would also want to thank the ITs responsible for these charming Chilbolton Crabwood crop formations, if I only knew their names. As an underground intellectual myself, I hope that amplitude modulation, microwaves, or whatever form my computer could mediate my deep gratitude and warm greetings to this underground intelligentsia, she says. Now, Pitconen, in her paper, also goes into great detail and analysis regarding a broadcast known as the Arecibo Message that was put together by Carl Sagan and his colleagues in 1974. It was sent into space via radio waves at a special ceremony to celebrate the remodeling of the Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico. It was the most powerful broadcast ever deliberately beamed out into space, directed at a star cluster sitting about 25,000 light years away from us. It consisted of a pictorial message depicting our planet's location in our solar system, the core principles of our math and science, and the NASA antenna used to transmit the signal in the hopes that it would be interpreted by an extraterrestrial intelligence. The message also included details about human beings, such as their physical appearance and DNA code, and the signal was 1,000,000 times stronger than the typical TV transmission. 27 years later, in 2001, the crop circle phenomenon gained some well-deserved attention when a pattern in the form of a response to the 1974 broadcast appeared right next to Britain's largest telescope, the Chilbolton Observatory, home to the world's largest fully steerable meteorological radar. The takeaway? Why are such discoveries and phenomena ridiculed in the mainstream? And when the mainstream does engage in the discussion about the crop circle phenomenon, why don't they address the facts presented by scientists, such as those in this article? Why are these considered to be hoaxes when some of the designs are so complicated, precise, and complex that they baffle some of the world's greatest minds? So what's going on here? There are facts about our reality that are so mind-altering that the human mind in many cases will instantly dismiss them on a collective level, Clearly, we're not ready to examine this phenomenon, no matter how much evidence is in support of it. It always will be greeted with ridicule and skepticism. But it's evident that something extraordinary is happening here, and has been happening for years. It could have tremendous implications for humanity as we continue to slowly but surely open our minds to concepts that do not yet fit within the framework of accepted knowledge. Now, this is by Collective Evolution, published here under Creative Commons license. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.